కాలర్ మైక్ ఉందా? Hello. Good evening, everyone. It gives me a great pleasure to all to this exciting workshop on Vision 2047. Today, we gather to envision a future where India reaches new heights of progress, innovation by 2047, marking a century of our independence. As we look ahead, Vision 2047 challenges us to rethink the way we approach crucial sectors like education, health sector, technology, and sustainability. This workshop is our opportunity to explore how we can collectively contribute towards creating an India that is not just economically strong but also socially and environmentally responsible. The year 2047 is not just a milestone in terms of time. It represents our hopes, aspirations, and the legacy we wish to leave behind. From embracing cutting edge technology to ensuring social equity, the vision will shape the future we pass on the next generation. I am delighted to introduce our new keynote speaker for today, Dr. Ramnath Yalamati, founder of Digital Roof 4.2 Private Limited and Executive Vice Chairman of Global Forum for Sustainable Transformation, and the chairman is our Honorable Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu Garu, and Director and Advisory of Andhra Pradesh Economic Cities, who will share insights on the key opportunities and challenges that lie ahead as we work today's Vision 2047. I request Dr. Ramnath Yalamati sir to please come on dais.
Can you all hear me? Good afternoon to you all. I feel very enthused by seeing so many students. I was also a student once. I'm also an engineer, but I did my engineering in 1973, so 51 years back. None of you were born then. But in the last 3-4 decades, I have observed there is a serious change in the future of all of us. For people of my generation, our challenges were different. We had many options, but few challenges. But now, for people of your generation, your options are limited, challenges very heavy. Because there is no automatic career path. When you pass out of college, it doesn't mean that all of you will be placed well. Some of you may have to overcome difficulties where jobs are not easy to come. And India, if you observe, is having the largest percentage of unemployment. 45, in the last 45 years, this is the highest unemployment rate. It also doesn't mean that you don't have opportunities. But if you want to choose an opportunity, you have to understand what's beyond your education. I think when Mr. Sagar suggested me to address all of you, I thought this was a good opportunity, because from where we come, we would like to share our experiences. And one of the initiatives is, of course, the Vision 2047. If you can go through history, Vision 2047 is a significant year, because India will be completing 100 years of independence. And why it is so significant is because of our growing population. Right now, I think our population is something between 1.4 billion to 1.45 billion. So 140 crores and above. Imagine if such a large population is there, how we can get opportunities. So knowledge, perseverance, and sincerity will be the most important things in your life. It's not easy that you walk out and you'll get a brilliant career. So I thought that beyond engineering, we should also know something about India, where we are, where we were, where we should be. And that is the purpose of the Vision 2047. I was fortunate to be a member of the committee which made a document on the Vision 2047. We have submitted this document to Niti Aayog and the Prime Minister of India. And many of the suggestions what our team has given have been adopted by the Government of India. So what is this vision is what you should understand. All of you know what vision is, because vision is a very plain English word. But vision means looking and trying to understand what is likely to happen in the future. Very few people have mastered the vision. So very few people are known as visionaries. Mr. Chandrababu Naidu is one of the persons whom all of us believe is a visionary. The way he has created the Cyberabad, the way he has created high-tech city, all of you know. Today, highest per capita income in India is Hyderabad. And it just happened in 20 years, 25 years. So all of you will also see tremendous growth in the country and the state. And if you are keen to follow, you can do wonders with your knowledge and with your perseverance. So looking back, if you take India, we are one of the most dominant countries in the world. Around more than 1,700 years back, India was the biggest economy in the world. India had 26.4% of the global trade, which is the highest in the world. But many people saw India's wealth, India's knowledge, India's resources, India's treasures. And that's when in 1757, East India Company came to India. East India Company was there for almost 99 years, followed by British rule, which was another 100 years. So in 199 years, what was 26.4% of India's, or the world's market for India came down to 4.2%. So you can understand how much of loot happened. We lost all our resources. We have to rebuild. That's why in 1947, when we got independence, we were declared as underdeveloped country. That means large population is below the poverty line, BPL. From there, we have been working hard for the last 75 years. Today, we are classified as a developing country. Developing country is one step or a few steps below a developed country. So if you follow the dynamics of international geopolitics, India has just crossed $3.9 trillion economy. This is about less than 2 years back. We were the 6th largest economy in the world. We are now become the 5th largest. We have just overtaken Great Britain. Great Britain, you know, is conglomeration of several countries. Great Britain is not England alone. Great Britain is England, Wales, Ireland, and Scotland. So the combined economy of Great Britain, we have just crossed becoming the 5th largest economy. In the next 3 to 4 years, maybe by 2030, we will be the 3rd largest economy. That means we are crossing Germany and Japan. Then what is there next? We have China, USA, India is the top 3. But if we take, even if we are number 3 in the world, we are still not developed country. Because our per capita is our annual income, is not anywhere related to what Chinese citizen is earning or American citizen earning. So to equate ourselves, we have to innovate. That is why a book was released by this group of the team which I belong to, Global Forum for Sustainable Transformation. This is a think tank. We have adopted 2 verticals. One, we do a lot of research and public policy advocacy. because we believe public policy can drive the future of all youngsters like you for as better citizens, and we will give better opportunities to you. The second vertical is we also focus on entrepreneurship development. So we have a lot of input. So some of you come out of college, you want to become an entrepreneur, we have a system to guide you. These are the two verticals. So if you see the outcome of this report, I can share the report to your management or to anybody. I have a draft copy. The outcome of the report is where we stand globally. India in a global economy, where are we? What is the status of the Indian diaspora? Indian diaspora in the US, our per capita income is $125,000, whereas the per capita income of average American is only $63,000. So we are nearly double the per capita of the American citizen. Why this has happened? Because engineers like you, who got a wonderful opportunity in IT sector, who migrated or who looked towards the USA, you have excelled. Today, USA has got the largest number of Telugu diaspora in the senior most positions. Unfortunately, IT, the focus has now changed. I'm sure you're aware now IT is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and others, virtual reality, augmented reality, and there is a lot of digital input now. So some of you who are looking at a future should look at where we stand, where we grow, and that's where people like us who have gone through this the last 40 years, we would like to share. Because you should not stop learning. I'm a civil engineer, but I have the fortune to get the experience in many other sectors. I was running a cement company. I was running a wire company. Wire, if you are aware that if you want to make a spring, you have to make a wire. Wire is coiled as a spring. So wire quality is supreme. So what is the highest quality of wire? Highest quality of wire in the world is used in automobile engines. So we had the opportunity to learn some mechanical engineering also. Automobile engineer, if you look at an IC engine and you have the engine valve, when the valve is displaced, you need a spring to put it back into original shape. So the quality of the wire that is used to make that spring is the highest quality in the world. So we had the fortune of making that wire. I was doing business with Mercedes about 20 years back. So I supplied to Mercedes engine, Mercedes car engine wire to make the wire spring. Why I'm telling you this is, this knowledge has given us a lot of leeway. Knowledge is what is driving us, but knowledge will be much more important to people like you. You should be able to learn more and think more, go out of the way, go into innovativeness, because the future, if you take, we are talking about climate change, global warming. I think you may be aware. Because of climate change, there is a sea change in the entire atmospheric. We are having unseasonal rains, we are having unseasonal floods, we are having unseasonal cold winters in some countries. Why this is happening is because we have tinkered with the environment. Now the world is looking at better improvements. Recently India has signed a pact in Paris. Originally this was known as the Kyoto Protocol, but that failed. Now India has signed a document saying 2070 we become net zero. Net zero means it's going to be a decarbonized society. That means we'll be more healthier. We expect the average life expectancy of people of your age, your generation will cross 100 years. So if you are living for 100 years, you have to take care of yourself for 100 years. Imagine you live for 100 years, you retire at 65 or 70 maybe that time, and next 30, 35 years you have to sustain. So unless you increase your skill levels, unless you increase your knowledge, You will not be able to survive in the competitive world. There is not going to be any your uncle or auntie who can save you. So this is the best opportunity. You have the age, you have the energy, you can grow. So this is the crux of this Vision 2047, to see India as a developed country, decarbonize India. If you read the book, we have on water security, we have a chapter, how water, if you are reading the news, Bangalore is going to run out of water very shortly. Delhi is going to run out of water very shortly. That means there will be a war for water. You are privileged because Guntur and Krishna district, you have a wonderful river. But not many cities are planned that way. So water security is required. Now we are talking about green hydrogen. I don't know how many of you have a subject on green hydrogen. We are talking about green hydrogen and downstream green ammonia. We are talking about manufacturing green steel, green cement. We are talking about carbon credits, plastic credits. These are all the words which will define your future. How much of knowledge you acquire on the environment, how we have to improve our environmental conditions, what we can contribute. So what is going to happen is most of you who can go into research, most of you who can innovate, most of you who can think out of the box, you will be able to excel in your careers. Your entire future will be a golden throne. But if you neglect, the challenges are many, many. Because just one engineering graduate is not going to have a brightest of careers. You have to excel not only in your subject, but also in the general knowledge. So this is what we expect in the next 23 years. We want to create documents, we want to create an approach note, we want to ensure that people of your age and generation, you will all see 2047 as a golden period of India, and you will have the privilege to enjoy that. Many of us who are much older than you may not see 2047, but all of you will be able to see that. That is where we are trying to give you these guidelines. So just by my sitting and giving you a talk for 10 minutes or half an hour, 1 hour is not going to change. It's for you to take up this initiative. Go to your management, seek better library knowledge. Come to people like us who, whenever you want increased knowledge, because I'm not the only person who is in this subject. We are a team, not only our team, there are many people working. Niti Aayog is working in this. So research is going to become very important for your futures. Innovation is going to be very important. How we can do better? Because if you are looking at what we call demographic dividend, India has the highest advantage of demographic dividend. Demographic dividend means people who are in the working age. So you have persons from 18 to 45 is one category, 45 to 65 another category. So in these two categories, India has the highest number of people. But imagine you have highest number of working class, and if you don't get the equivalent opportunity in job, many of you will have face challenges in jobs. That's why I'm telling you, you have to excel. This student life is, I know, is a maza. I also was a student. But we didn't have this many challenges, we didn't have this many opportunities also. All of you have got opportunities and challenges which you can take care. So when you talk about demographic dividend, next 30 years, India is going to have the privilege of the highest demographic dividend. So today, the lowest demographic dividend countries are countries like Japan. Japan, average lifespan has gone beyond 85. There are a lot of old people, but they don't have young generation people. So when they don't have young generation people, they're finding it difficult to sustain their lifestyle. Now they're inviting people from other countries. So if some of you are interested to learn Japanese language, which is a prerequisite. If you learn the Japanese language, you will have wonderful opportunities in Japan. Likewise, the same type of opportunities are there in Sweden, in Finland, what you call is Scandinavian countries, Denmark. And also, there are industrial opportunities in Africa. Africa is all of you are aware, is a conglomeration of 54 countries. And Africa is underdeveloped. At least India is in a developing state, Africa is still underdeveloped. There are going to be opportunities in Africa, but that will be more on the manufacturing sector. If you look at elevated thought, it is Japan or Sweden or Finland, Norway or Denmark, which are Scandinavian. Germany is falling short of skilled people. Now, a lot of Indians are being allowed into Germany. France, which was always a barrier for Indians, it has now opened up. All because the highest number of youth, educated youth, are from India. But it doesn't mean that just having a degree is automatic. You have to enhance, you have to free time study you have to do. Recently I went to ISB and I was told they don't have classes. I was surprised. ISB doesn't have classes like what you have first period, second period, third period. But I believe every person who enrolls into ISB has to spend 14 hours per day in the library to enhance the knowledge. So that is the power of knowledge. That is the power which will take you forward for many, many years in your future, many decades. And if you look at people like Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, he is the one who has survived only on the knowledge. He is constantly upgrading his knowledge. If you see, whenever he goes, he has a notebook and makes notes. That's why he is able to rise above everybody. He is one of the tallest leaders in India right now. Even Indian government is inviting him to come to Delhi to give his valuable thoughts. That's all because of his voracious reading and learning. Because he is just an economics graduate. But beyond economics, he can talk science, he can talk engineering, he can talk about Polavaram, he can talk about water management. He's so knowledgeable. We tried to find a word in the dictionary for a person like Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, and after a lot of discussions, we came out with the word as polymath. Mr. Chandrababu Naidu is one of the few polymaths of the world. So that is where he has reached. And let me tell you, the privileges, what you are having, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu did not have when he was young. You are privileged. So if you all work hard, it is not difficult for you to raise above others. You come to a role model. Today we are seeing Satya Nadella as a role model for the IT field. There are many others Indians in not only IT but others. That's where the skill, the knowledge, that was going to help. Previously people used to think only IIT is going to be good for education. Today every single college, and if I'm not wrong, there are more than 250 colleges in Andhra Pradesh alone, engineering colleges. Every one of you has got equal opportunity. Today's digital age, you don't need to go and buy a book. You can download so many things on your mobile. So that's all the opportunity that is coming. This is what I thought we should share with you, because the vision document is only to give you the overall view of what are the opportunities that are there. But what I thought is, instead of my talking, maybe I can ask you to, I want to understand what you have learnt or what you would like to learn. Maybe I will be able to give you some answers on that. Thank you. Huh?
Hello. You can ask the doubts to sir. Sir will answer everything for you. You can just raise your hand or stand up. We'll pass the mic to you.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Myself, Someshwar Swami, and I'm from CSMB. So, my doubt is, even though India is competing with the world, so as you have said that India is going to be the third largest economy, right? So, I have a doubt that why per capita income of a person is not going high.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Mr. Swami.
Thank you, sir.
If you read history, India is, please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
We were 70% dependent on agriculture. If you see the growing economies of the world, how the per capita income is increased. So agriculture is the basic initiative of civilization. From agriculture, people have gone to manufacturing. From manufacturing, people have gone to services. From services, we have gone to knowledge economy. Unfortunately, India didn't go through those steps. So one of the major observations, what I have in my study, during Second World War, India also participated with allies. Allies, you know, are people who won the war. So because of Indian Army contributing to the war, the United Nations said we have to reward this country. Because our country was totally looted. The British have taken away most of our resources, most of our assets, wealth moved out. If you go back, India was one of the largest textile producers of the world. British have forced closure of textile mills, and they forced Indian cotton to be exported to Manchester. If you know, Manchester was the world's largest British city for textiles. That happened because India lost and they gained because of our export. So, because we are so dependent on agriculture, when the allies wanted to reward us, we have not taken adequate steps to align ourselves with the technology of that time. So it has taken a longer time for us to understand the technology. Only now, after 75 years, many of the loopholes have been overcome. That's why next 25 years is a golden period for India. Your per capita is going to raise, it's going to multiply. We will be equal to global leaders. You just take China. China in 1980, per capita income was 1/4 of India. The GDP was much less than India at that time. Now GDP of India is 4 trillion, around 3.92.
3.97.
China is 18 trillion. So we have lost valuable 50 years because of various reasons. It is only now we have understood. We means we as a country, we have understood that we have to now accelerate. So we were doing an exercise for Andhra Pradesh. For Andhra Pradesh to sustain, we have to have a continuous year-on-year growth of 15%, GDP, GSDP what we call. But we are less than 10% now. So from less than 10% to go to 15% is a Herculean challenge. But we are ready. People like me and my group, my team, we're all working on, because these are areas where youngsters like you cannot contribute, because you have to go through your educational career. People like us, we want to pave the path. So that's why I'm telling you, the next 25 years is a golden period. You will see the per capita multiplying. Means that is the kind of challenges, that is the kind of opportunities you will have. So all of you should take the opportunity. You will have better lifestyle. What is per capita going to have? It's going to increase your livelihood. So you are going to have a more comfortable life than what you have now. Earlier, very few people had air conditioners. Many people didn't have fan also. Now we have seen the sea change. Everything is, in my college we didn't have air conditioned hall like this. In Andhra University, I'm talking about 50 years back. But this is changing. But the change is also giving you a lot of opportunities. So you should take the opportunity and you can multiply your per capita. You will reach global per capita income if you could do it properly. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. This is Srilila.
May I know your name?
This is Srilila, sir. My name is Srilila.
Srilila, okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you say what about the employment in the next upcoming 5 years?
As I'm telling you, I don't know how many people are going to pass out. So if you're looking for employment immediately after passing out, it may not be the best options. You have to develop some specific skills. That's why in countries like Germany and all, after 10th class, you can't go to 11th class unless you do a 2-year skill development. There are the opportunities are there. What I told you is, unfortunately, we are getting into unemployability category. Employment does not mean physically available. You know. Employment means physically available and knowledgeable. Please acquire the knowledge. You have golden opportunities of employment. Even I think in engineering, people, this campus and all, people are getting very good placements. But everything is knowledge only. So how much of time you are spending in your education career, how much you are reading, how much you are learning is going to give you a great opportunity.
Sir, I have another doubt, sir. So, I have read in newspaper today's the Hindu newspaper that India's growth is falling down. So, in financial year 2023, it's 8%, and now it's approximately around 6.2 or something. So, can you assure that with this in this race and excel the position of third largest economy?
Yeah, no. See, third largest economy is not just coming out of economic growth. Because of a large population, even a small multiple, the numbers are very high. But what you have to understand is, for the economy to grow further, we have to understand why we have fallen. What you say is absolutely right. So, at the point of independence, because we are underdeveloped country, we are always depending on international funding, international grants, United Nations, World Bank, Korean funds or Japanese funds, at that funds or Japanese funds. At that time, the challenges, competition with other countries, we didn't have much. But in the last 75 years, We lost out on the manufacturing. That's why there is a challenge now. The challenge is to innovate. If we cannot innovate, then we'll be depending on China only. So you take pharmaceutical industry, China's knowledge of pharmaceutical formula was given by Indians. Now China is making some raw materials which are not available in India. So that's how we slipped up. There are 53 what you call APIs. If you're anybody in chemical engineering, you will understand. APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients. 53 APIs are not manufactured in India. So if you want a basic antibiotic, you have to depend on China. That's where India is now identifying growth. Recently, Government of India has given 4 pharmaceutical parks to excel in pharmaceuticals. So government has realized that's a good thing. This dip in economic growth, as you are saying, from 8 to 6.2, we will be able to overcome in the next few years. So that is not a challenge. We have understood. The Government of India, the bureaucracy, the political system has understood where we stand, how we have to grow. But to grow, it is people like you who have to contribute.
Good evening, sir. I'm Adarsha, and my question is, how is AI used in governance?
AI used in?
Governance.
AI is just a starting. It's a buzzword now. AI is if you have gone to chat to GPT and all that, we are just in the learning curve. So, in the skill census, now, Government of Andhra Pradesh is conducting a skill census. Skill census is where we are trying to understand what are the current skill levels and what are the skill gaps. So this we are trying to do it through AI. So AI is going to guide the government in certain decision making. Yesterday, a person came and demonstrated AI in medical systems. So it is very interesting. I think you should try and learn that how it is done. So it was a question answer session between the man and the machine. So you can just talk to the machine and say, I have this ailment. It is able to give you a diagnostic report. It's also able to give you what kind of medication you should take for your metabolism or for your body chemistry. So this is all automated. AI is only going to simplify things. But AI, there's a lot of feeling that AI is going to replace human in numbers. It is not so. Because if you read a report by World Economic Forum, which is the premier organization to track the world economy, 50 million jobs are going to be lost because of AI. That means 5 crore jobs will be lost. But AI will generate 75 million jobs. So you have to adapt yourself to AI. AI is giving you very, very predictive analytics. So it is able to tell you in advance when it is going to rain or when it is going to snow or when it is getting cold, because it is able to track it's like a supercomputer. Because what a computer did now, we are talking about 100 or 1,000 computers. So AI is going to replace. So artificial intelligence is picking up keywords and give you quicker answers. So that is going to help drive the government's administration also. So tomorrow we will be able to simplify so many things. What used to take 10 days for you, in the government may take just 1 hour. It's an advanced form of governance. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. I am Gayatri. So, I have major doubt that we have two constraints basically, that is agriculture and technology, right? So we need agriculture to survive and technology to compete with other. So I observe that both of them need a basic constraint like land. when we observe from last few years, so agricultural lands are converting to ventures and all these development things. How can we balance both of them, sir? Because agriculture is also our basic need, right? So how can we balance them?
No, thank you for the question. You have to bring technology into agriculture. That is the effort people are making. Because what you say is right. The land is limited. You can't produce land. And if you occupy the land, then you have lesser area for agriculture. That means the produce is not going to be enough for our food. So there will be food security problem. But now if you see, our productive levels are very low. Recently, I was talking to somebody from Iowa State University. They have developed a new seed for maize. So the output in India, maize per hectare is 10,000 square meters. Maize per hectare, we are producing 3.5 metric tons, whereas Iowa State University is producing 10.5 metric tons. That means 3 times. So if you can use that technology, what they call GE, gene editing, if you use that technology, we will be able to produce maize 3 times the quantity. And if you are aware, maize is used in chicken feed, largely. So 67% of chicken feed is maize. So if you are able to produce more maize, you can feed more chicken, which is more food. So technology will come. Now people are talking about drones, people are talking about aerial analytics. So we should not overspray with pesticides or overuse of fertilizers. But one major change happened in the Indian context. In 1975, there was a Land Ceiling Act which came to India. The government has adopted Land Ceiling Act, where many landlords who had larger tracts of land, 500,000, 2,000 acres, they lost the land because government said you cannot have a certain number of acres. So there were 3 or 4 categories. I think in wetlands they said you cannot have more than 18 acres. Now they said this land will be distributed among people. So many people have got 2 acre, 3 acre. So when you talk about technology, now we're having difficulty. It's very difficult to mechanize. You can't have a tractor for 2 acres. It was not uneconomical. That means you're again going back to the labor system. Now government is promoting contract farming, pooling. So 10, 20, 30, 50 farmers can pool 200 acres. Then they can get a mechanized output where the produce will be multiplied. So there will not be any food shortage if proper technology is used. And that's where I think Indians are quite good. We are talking about even ZBNF. Zero budget natural farming is also a very focused area, and organic farming, because the highest nutrient value you will get in organic farming only. So that is also being promoted now in several areas. I went to one farm, about 300 acres near Vijayawada. They are doing a wonderful job. They don't use, it's a zero pesticide, zero fertilizer, 300 acre farm. So you will get healthier food, you will get higher produce. Shortage will not come because for the growing population you need housing. Only thing is whether government will be able to encourage more vertical housing so lesser land is required. Otherwise in 50 or 100 years you will find land shortage. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. I'm Lakshman. Sir, my question is, what are the challenges that India will face in order to achieve Vision 2047 and how can we overcome them, sir?
Now, as I told you, we have to innovate because China has crossed us in many ways. Most of the manufactured products are not Indian. We are still using pens from Japan. Please understand, the pen technology is not rocket science. So why Indians are not making pens? We still get Uniball or some Japanese pen. If you take a tumbler, glass tumbler, most likely it is made in Thailand because we have forgotten manufacturing. India is the only country in the world where we tried to go from agriculture to services by bypassing manufacturing. That's why our manufacturing cost is very, very high. In garments, India was one of the leader in garments. Now, Indian garment worker is able to produce 2 garments per shift. Shift is 8 hours. Whereas Bangladesh is able to produce 8 garments per shift. That means the worker is more efficient in Bangladesh. So these are the gaps that have come, which we are trying to bring back to the country. That's the effort of all of us. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. This is Chandras from Information Technology Department. I have a major doubt, sir. As you said, and according to past trends, from few years, unemployment rate is going up, sir. This unemployment is due to the lack of skill, but this Vision 2047 requires more skills, sir, to meet the market trends. Then how this unemployment and the market trends, which need high skill, how these two will match, sir? How these unemployment and these market trends will combine and give a best output. What are your thoughts on this, sir?
See, there are 2 reasons for unemployment. One is the knowledge, 2 is unwillingness to learn. So I am from Hyderabad, but if I come to Vijayawada, I come to Guntur, I go to a restaurant, first question I am asking, अरे भाई आप हिंदी बात करना है, तेलुगु में बात करना है. Most people are from Orissa, from West Bengal, Bihar. Recently in Telangana we did a study, 89,000 job positions are there. Telugu people only subscribe for 2,000 jobs. That means the mindset is lacking. Unwillingness to work. People are getting lazier by going for welfare. Please understand, welfare you may get 10,000 rupees at the age of 20. But when you touch 30 years, you are getting 12,000 rupees only welfare. But if you work hard, even if you get 15,000 at 20 years, by the time you are going 30, you will be 40, 45,000 also you will be earning. Next, what you said is very, very relevant, is the skilling. So the Indian budget, Government of India's budget and Andhra Pradesh state government budget, highest budget is what skill development. That is why the skill census is being done now. Skill census will take a few months. So we are trying to identify what are the areas where skill gaps are there. So we have studied the German model. In Germany, after your 10th class, you have to do vocational training for 2 years. That means you stop studies, do vocational for training years, very intensive. In 2 years, I understand that they are able to give a report on your individual performance. Because once I went to Germany, I went to Frankfurt. I was traveling in a taxi. I realized that he looked very similar to our features. So I said, where are you from? He said, sir, I am from Pakistan. Are you happy here? Sir, I am very happy. So what about your children? What is the amount you are earning for educating your children? He was so happy. He said, my son is just passed 10th class last year. They put him into vocational. They found that he is highly skilled. So they told that he is likely to be a good engineer or a good doctor. So it is the duty of the government to identify the skill gap and give this thing. That is the first time this exercise is being done. The skill, only it has come from 2014, the emphasis on skills. So now this period, the next 5 years is going to be the maximum priority on skill development. So if you are reading in your free time, what are the areas of skill which people like you, I don't know which department, whether technology or engineering or civil engineering or mechanical engineering, you have to learn the skill. Because skill is not taught at college level. So recently, I went to Delhi and I went to meet somebody. I was having a coffee in a small cafeteria. The coffee shop was full. So one person came and the seat opposite me was vacant. He said, "Can I use this seat because there's no space?" I said, "Okay." He's a stranger, but we were having coffee. Then I asked him, "May I know what you do?" He said, "I am from AICTE." Then I asked him, "What's your name?" He said, "Mr. Punia." I think he's vice chairman. Was vice chairman, I don't know. I'm talking about a few years back. Then when I told him about the education system, my take on it, he was so interested. He called me into the hall like this. There were around 700 students. Then he said, "I would like to request my coffee friend to come and address the 700 people." So I was surprised because I am not a lecturer or I am not expert. But he liked the idea what I gave. So what I told him is, "Sir, when I did engineering, we did 5-year engineering course. Now you made it 4 years. You made it very easy to pass engineering. So why can't you make engineering 7 years? Where 2-year vocational training is also there, people will come out as skilled people." So after our discussion, there is some initiative. I think they have you have to do something, isn't it? That I was suggesting to Mr. Punia, luckily. So skill is education, reading alone will not give you expertise. You need skill, but you can't blame because the system is not giving. You have to learn it on your own. So you have to understand, because all of us learned using mobile phone. Nobody taught us. But when we want to do hard work, we don't want, because we want to have mobile phone and passing time. So much of time all of us are wasting on social media or smartphones. If we can use the time to learn, then we'll have a wonderful career. So it is up to us to understand, to learn. That's a skill which the government is giving opportunity to you. So don't waste the time. Please understand, if you want to excel, you have to perform. If you want to perform, you have to have the knowledge. Because many people, even engineering, I'm also an engineer, but many people don't give serious thought to engineering, because engineering is the primary base for growth. Engineers are more capable of logical thinking than non-engineers because of mathematical algorithm, formulas and all. So that opportunity you should be able to advance your knowledge and skill.
Good evening, sir. I'm Navya. Like the work you are currently doing, which is Vision 2024, like also focus on the climatic changes. What are like the initiatives you are taking to decrease it down or mitigate it?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Like, what are you guys doing to decrease the climatic changes or the global warming which is happening in the atmosphere?
Okay. It's not a straight line method. There's no single answer. You take energy. Thermal plants use coal. Coal is fossil fuel. So when you extract coal from the underground, you are depriving the environment of its resource. Now you are using coal to produce energy. If you see a thermal plant, after the coal is burnt and steam is generated, steam will run the turbine, there is an exhaust. So into the exhaust, coal particles are entering. So if you go to, let us say, Krishnapatnam, Nellore district, there are 6-7 power plants next to each other. So the entire atmosphere is filled with particulate matter. I think it's more than 50 ppm. That is changing the environmental balance. So how do we do it? To answer your question, one is to reduce fossil fuel. But if you need energy, you need electricity. If you reduce fossil fuel, you need alternate energy. That is when the clean energy is coming. Now you take solar, there is no exhaust. You take wind power, there is no exhaust. You take hydel power, there is no exhaust. So if you increase the percentage of these three areas, reduce coal-fired thermal plants, you will be improving the quality of the atmosphere. When you improve the quality of atmosphere, the nature is not disturbed. You are likely to get reduced temperatures. Now global warming, is it reversible? Yes. So decarbonization, what we are calling, is what we have to do now as far as thermal plant is concerned. As far as water is concerned, water conservation. Now if you say Godavari River, 350 to 400 TMC of water is wasted. You know, 1 TMC is 1,000 million cubic feet. It's huge. So if you can divert that water, it can save what we are talking about is garlanding. What we have, Godavari River through Pattisima, come to Krishna River water going into right bank of Nagarjuna Sagar, right bank going into Somasela water going into Chennai. If that happens, Chennai will not have water shortage, drinking water shortage as it is. So these are all areas where environment balance is happening. So water is one area, air quality is one area, and other polluting, we are talking about hydrogen. If you learn green hydrogen, what they are talking about, hydrogen is produced by cracking only water, H2O. So there is a nil effluent and there is no emission. So tomorrow if cars are running on hydrogen fuel, I believe the exhaust will have water droplets. So that is where we are trying to reduce fossil fuel, trying to make lesser wastage of water and more similar things to get a clean air. That's why Government of India has now signed the Paris Protocol 2070 by that year. It will have net zero. That means we will have zero carbon. That is going to happen. It's a process. It's not a one time, but at least we should all be happy that people have realized. Now, slowly thermal plant, if you are aware of the science of thermal energy, very high release of sulfur. Sulfur is very harmful. It is going to affect our health. So now they are talking about desulfurization, decarbonization in thermal plants, improving the renewable energy. So recently, if you have read about energy, they are talking about pumped storage is a new concept. First pumped storage plant is coming in Kurnool. During daytime, they are using solar power to pump water to higher levels. During night time, they will turbine to produce hydropower. So this is going to give us cleaner and healthier power. So that's a process. It can't happen overnight. So this 25 years, every year, every minute, every day, we have to look at how we can protect our mother nature. Otherwise, all of us will have health issues, will have serious problems because of our food, because of our water, because of pollution. And pollution is so bad in many cities, including Delhi. Delhi is, I think, one of the highest pollutants, top 10 or top 20 cities in the world. So this is what is the future of the country is, to decarbonize, to bring healthier environment. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. I'm Kalyan. How does Vision 2047 plan to reform the education system for better align?
No, I couldn't get your question.
How does Vision 2047 plan to reform the education system for better align?
A very challenging question. Changing education, I think Mr. Sagar is better than me. But I'm a private businessman. So during 2014, I was invited by government to set up a committee for education reforms. There is a lot to do, right from schooling. We are trying to build integrated schooling system, but it will take time because to change education is not an overnight job. We are trying to, that's why I have been emphasizing to you that while education system is being reformed, if we want to be beneficiaries, our only hope is to read on our own because we can't wait. Probably education reform change will help your next generation people if there is good reforms. All of you are already in the system, which cannot be changed overnight. You have to now work harder. Why I am repeatedly telling on skill is, we have learned the value of skill. I can do multiple jobs. That's why my skill, because of my knowledge, please understand, as a civil engineer, as a businessman, when I was invited by government, I formed a AP Economic Development Board. I was heading Andhra Pradesh AP TIDCO. If you are aware, TIDCO built 4 lakh houses. Then I was heading AP Economic City Development Corporation. And I was later on head of AP Smart City Corp, AP Real Estate Regulatory Authority. It is only because of all the knowledge I have gained, they have rewarded me, not because of any other reason. I did not pull any strings to get this job. So that skill is going to help. Having gone through this process, you know, what is the level of salaries skilled people are getting? I have an offer from a cement company. This cement company has got a production capacity of 1 million tons. Now they are not able to produce more than 0.4 million. That is 400,000 tons they are able to produce. So they want to upgrade this plant to 5 million tons. So if you want to upgrade from 1 million capacity to 5 million capacity, additional 4 million is going to cost 3,000 crores. So they were searching for an engineer or a corporate person to run the show, not find somebody. So I got an offer. I said, at this age, I may not be able to spare time. But I got an offer that they will pay me 3 crores per year. That is 25 lakhs per year, per month, plus 2 crores bonus if I achieve this. So why that offer is coming? Offer is coming because of the skill. So that kind of opportunities are there. Satya Nadella earning 1 crore per day. He also studied like you all. He didn't study in a golden school. He also studied in one school, one college like you all. So that is the kind. You take Sundar Pichai. They're all global leaders now. Okay, not everybody is going to become Satya Nadella. But it gives us the inspiration that education, knowledge, skill, you will have a golden future. We didn't have this future. We were, when I came out of engineering, I got offer for 750 rupees per month salary. I did not take up the job because 25 rupees per day, that time even person who is selling pan and cigarettes was earning. Today it's not like that. You can get wonderful career path. Combined with education, knowledge has to be combined. Please read what is happening, what is the future. So many things are going to be, you know, the world's most innovative engineering in automobiles is from Pune. I believe the Indian engineers are the most skilled people in automobile, people who are working in Pune, that is SKF and all these companies. So why I am repeatedly telling is, please spend all your free time on learning. If you learn, you don't need to ask people like me. You yourself become masters. Thank you. So thank you all. We had a good evening, I think.
I request all the dignitaries to please come on dais for the felicitation. I request Srinivas Rao to please.
Everyone agrees that Chandrababu Naidu is a great visionary, అవునా? అంతే కదా. మన తెలుగులో స్టేట్మెంట్ ఉంటుంది కదా, తాజ్మహల్కి రాళ్ళెత్తిన కూలీలు ఎవరనేది. ఆ విజనరీ వెనకాల విజన్ ఉండేవాళ్ళు, బయట అన్స్పోకెన్ అన్హెరాల్డెడ్ రామ్నాథ్ గారు అంటారు ఉంటారు. మీకు ఎక్స్పోజ్ తీసుకొచ్చాను.
I request Srinivas Rao sir to please come on dais. I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speakers. Your valuable insights and thoughts, provoking ideas have inspired us and given us a clear path towards realizing our collective visions. Thank you, sir. I request everyone to rise up for the national anthem. Janagana mana adinayaka jaya he Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sata Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchala Jalachitaranga Tava Shubha Name Jahe Tava Shubha Ashisha Mahe Gahe Tava Jaya Gata Janagana Mangala Nayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Jaya He Jaya He Jaya He Jaya 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 He Jai Hind.